Hey everybody, Unstable Gamer here, and welcome back to Looney Tunes World of Mayhem. In this video, we are going to be breaking down a damage over time team and a couple different variations of it. This is the first of many videos that goes into breaking down team compositions and hopefully gives you some ideas of what you can do with the different tunes you have in your roster. There's a lot to break down here, so before we get into that, if you're just now finding this channel and you want to stay up to date with this and other games, consider hitting that subscribe button so you don't miss out. All right, and welcome back. So just a couple reminders. All the links to my social media are in the description of every video, so definitely check that out. Join us on Discord, where we're talking about tips, tricks, and strategies just like this, and, you know, anything and everything Looney. Also, I do stream 2 to 3 days a week. The link is on Twitch in the description below as well. Definitely keep an eye out on the community tab on my channel, because I do give updates if the schedule changes, but typically it's Mondays, Fridays, and Saturdays. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at this team here. So this is a damage over time team, and on my last stream, I was trying to say it melts health bars, but it came out melty bears. So this is my melty bears team. So let's go ahead, jump into brawl, and then we're gonna take a look at this first variation, which I think is probably a pretty popular one. So let's go ahead and break down why this team works so well. The key component to this team, though, to any of these damage over time teams that I'm taking a look at, is Ronan Canasta. Now, you don't have to have him, but he really does make this team work, and we'll go over that here in just a second. So we do have a Devil Dog here. Now, what works out really well here, obviously, is his Book of Darnation right here, where he removes heal over time from all enemies, inflicting 2 to 3 damage over time for 2 turns. Also, for the next 3 turns, all enemies are immune to heal over time, so it works great when Granny's a healer or whenever there's a healer on the team that gives heal over time. Also, that's not its max, actually. If we go ahead and max it out, I think it's right there, 26, right? Let's just take a double check. No, 29 right there. So it's 3 to 4 damage over time over 2 turns. Now, the thing is with this damage over time team is you want to rack those damage over times up as quickly as possible. So that's the key ingredient to that guy right there. Now, the reason why we have Pepe Labard in here, it's nice to get those defense downs and attacks down, but you also want him for his healing here. Every time it's his turn, he goes ahead and heals the team. It's good to have a little bit of healing there. So that's really what he's there for, the defense down, the attack down, and that healing. Now, Witch Hazel has been around a really long time, so I'm sure you're not too surprised at her being here, but obviously it's Enfeebling Hex, which gives that damage over time, but it also stacks that defense down and that attack down, so it really drives down what your opponents can really do to you. And then the reason why Ronan Canasta is so important, not only because just his passives, really. Take a look at this. So let's take a look at Death Sentence. This one right here, whenever an enemy gains damage over time, if it has 8 or more damage over time, it's stunned. That's why it's so critical to get those damage over times racked up as quickly as you can, so you can stun the enemy team. And then this one right here, Way of the Crimson Moon. Inflict all enemies with damage over time for 3 turns at the start of battle, and each of this tune's turn. So you're just continually racking up those damage over time. It takes them up to that 8 or more pretty quick. It stuns them, and you just start seeing their health bars melt. So that's the team that works fairly well. There's a couple of the variants. Really, all it is swapping out Pepe Labard. So let's go ahead and jump into battle. We'll show how this team's works, and then I'll do a couple of variants of this team, swapping out Pepe Labard there. So let's go ahead and jump in. Now, typically what I've been able to do with this team, you want to get the attack down and defense down right off the bat. Now, you could, depending on the team you go up against, you could do this right here to do additional defense down and attack down and get that taunt up. But if you are going up against a team that's pretty even with you, or maybe even a little bit lower, you can go ahead and just do Book of Darnation and really start racking up those damage over times. So let's go ahead and get that going. That's what I'm going to do right off the bat. And then obviously you want to do this. Get Witch Hazel over there adding to those damage over time, so you can see Chamberlain down there is already stunned. So is Granny there. And we're going to go ahead and add to... We're going to go and do this right here. Add damage over times, 3 of them to Sylvester there. And then you can just see those melt bars just really... those melt bars. There we go. Melty bears. Melt bars. Those health bars just melt. We'll go ahead and do the taunt now. Boom. There we go. And that works out pretty well. Now, with this team, I have been able to go usually 10 to 15,000 above, power level above my current team. Once I start to get around the 20 to 25,000 range, that separation, it's super difficult. Now, this is where I have this team. Now, if you have this team obviously higher than where I have them currently, this team is only going to get better the stronger that it gets. All right, this next team, all I did was swap out Pepe Labard for Nasty Canasta. The reason why he is so important in this one is because of the 2 of the usual right here, which gives 7 damage over time. Now, he's a little bit weaker, so my strategy going into this one, even with the 37k team going up against the 41k team, is going to be to protect my weaker characters here. So I'm going to do my taunt right off the bat from Devil Dog here, just so we can protect them as much as possible. And with Nasty Canasta, with his 7 damage over time, we should be able to rack those damage over times up pretty quick. All right, let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and rack these ones up. There we go. Should get Nasty Canasta coming up here pretty quick. Good, went ahead and took care of a few there. And then here we go. Now, most of them died, but look at that. We went up to 12 damage over time there and just took out Chamberlain down there. All right, the third variation I want to show you swaps out that 1 toon for Sylvester Slaslow. The reason why he's so important is because of his ability here, Incendiary Sabotage. When your opponents have a debuff, then this does damage as well as inflicts damage over time. It just helps rack up those damage over times. The challenge again with this is there's no healing, so things can go kind of sideways if you're not paying attention to the battle. Also, Ronin Canasta here again is key because once you hit 8 damage over time or higher, then you hit those stuns. So we're going to go ahead and jump into battle with this team here. So we have those damage over times right off the bat. We do this ability from Sylvester Slaslow to do some additional damage over time. Now, because I have a character here, I don't have Pepe Labard in here, that is doing additional damage over times, then I'm just going to go ahead and do a taunt right off the bat. It protects the rest of my team. Then we got Witch Hazel here. And then we have, let's see, this ability here gives 3 damage over time. I'm sorry, damage over time for 3 turns. So we can stun this character right there. Boom. There we go. And there we go. Sometimes you can get away with having Devil Dog do his damage over times right off the bat. Others, you have to use the taunt right off the bat. So it really just depends on the team that you're going up against and how strong your Ronin Canasta is. If your Ronin Canasta isn't super strong, you're going to want to taunt right away to protect him and the rest of your team. All right, now the final variant that I have for you is just without Nasty Canasta, and I put in Pepe Labard. The reason for that is because I need some healing here. If you don't have Nasty Canasta in there, not Nasty Canasta, but Ronin Canasta in there, stunning and doing the additional damage, then the battles may go a little bit longer, and you're going to need a little bit of healing. So I go ahead and swap him out, and I'll throw in Pepe Labard. So we'll go ahead and go up against this team. So all these characters have been pretty readily available, and they've been in recent events quite a bit. We're going to go ahead. I'm not going to do a taunt right off the bat. We're going to rack up those damage over times as quickly as possible. Now, I may lose Pepe Labard here. Nope, I did not, which is good. We'll get that taunt up. So barely saved Pepe Labard there. You also get the double damage there from his, I can't even remember the name of that ability right now, but that ability with the plane that hits 2. So that right there is another variant of that team. So there's 4 variants right there of damage over time team. Now my favorite is that very first one that I showed you with Ronan Canasta, Devil Dog, Witch Hazel, and Pepe the Bard. It just works very well. You have healing and you have stuns. It works well. It's a very well-rounded team, and I believe, I gotta double check. I can't check right now, but I believe you can have all of those characters in Granny's Tower, and it's a fantastic team to work to use in there as well. All right, everybody, that's what I had to show you. This was the first of many videos, again, to show you and break down team compositions and how you might be able to use some of the characters in your team and how you may be able to swap some of those characters out in this team if you don't have a specific character like Ronan Canasta. So there you go, everybody. That's what I had for you. I'd be very interested to hear your thoughts on what you think of this team. What do you think of this video? And what suggestions do you have for team compositions? I've got a lot. So we could go a while with this, but hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully it helped you out a little bit. Definitely let me know your thoughts. And as always, I want to thank you all for taking the time to watch the video. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button and share your thoughts and questions in the comment section below. Take care, everybody, and we'll talk to you next time.